Con Media.
Welcome to the show. I got to call these boy, listen, everybody likes a good clown show, right? So you got these officers, man, they just want to be down so bad to where they bring things across the guard line to their wonderful friends. And since they like hooking them up so much, since they love their people so much, they got arrested. Now you can be in there with them 24 hours a day. Take a look.
Four Georgia jailers, all facing very similar crimes, accused of smuggling contraband into the different facilities that they work at. While their charges feel common, what got them caught is what really sets all of these cases apart. We're going to take a deep dive into what's, in my opinion, starting to feel like a phenomenon. All of these cases we are learning about are all around the same time within the last month or so. So let's start in Fulton County, where we learned on September 2nd there was a shakedown at the jail, and during which they uncovered a quote-unquote substantial amount of illegal contraband, including cocaine, marijuana, crystal meth, drug strips, and a cell phone. So here's what tipped the law enforcement off to what happened here at the Fulton County Jail. They say that command staff noticed a breach in a window. They took a look at surveillance camera footage, and it showed some inmates passing items under a...
Look at this clown now. This clown here. This a clown. He listen, he wants to be in there with his friends. Guess what? He can now be in there with his friends, man. Stay tuned and watch the entire video, because I'm going to tell you what law they are breaking when they do this and how much time they're facing. Now, some people like taking them chances. Okay. I think part of the problem is these officers not getting paid enough money. So once they run into financial problems, they link up with some inmates that they feel like they can trust. The entire time it's a manipulation scheme. And see, what these officers don't realize, once you make one move, you got to keep making that move, because they are going to extort you and use their first move against you. And now you got to keep doing it over and over and over and over again. You understand that? The manipulation is real.
a fire door. And then there was a search later on that uncovered a note that talked about a drone drop scheduled for either August 30th or the 31st. And it implicated, according to investigators, Deputy DeMarcus Jamal Tinsley. He was the floor officer at the time. So not only has he been accused of helping out with this drug smuggling and that drone drop, but the warrant also says that he allowed 3 inmates from one of the housing units to enter a part of the jail they weren't supposed to be in and remain there from 10 p.m. August 31st until 4 a.m. September 1st without any authority. Who knows what they were doing in that area for that amount of time. According to jail records, Tinsley was booked into the Fulton County Jail on October 8th, the very same jail that he was supposed to be a jailer at. He was released the same day on bond, and he's charged with violating his oath as a public officer and conspiracy to commit a felony. Supposedly he lives in Noonan, Georgia, and his bond was set at $35,000. All right, so that's Fulton County, but that's not where it stops. Over in Henry County, we found out that the man you see on your screen, Officer Miles J. Moxie, was also taken into custody after Henry County Sheriff's Office launched a formal criminal investigation into what they believe was happening at their facility. So this one, he was caught when a detention staff found that suspected contraband during some routine operations at the jail in McDonough. At the time, investigators believed that there was enough evidence to charge him with violation of oath by a public officer and violation of the Georgia Controlled Substances Act. And because of the severity of the allegations that he was facing, he has also been terminated from his job at the sheriff's office. That's according to agency policy. Now, unlike the other case, we don't have a clear indication of what kind of contraband was found or how much of it was found inside the jail. It's also unclear whether what was found was intended for inmates or for other faculty and staff there at the jail. We also don't know how long he was serving with the Henry County Sheriff's Office before all of this happened. But again, the man that you're looking at on your screen is Officer Miles J. Moxie. And we reported on this a couple of days ago, right here in October. I don't have the exact date that all of this was uncovered, but I believe this is all fairly recent because we just got the information from the Henry County Sheriff's Office. All right, and if that's not enough, let's move on over to Clayton County, where not one, but two jail officers were arrested in connection to some sort of contraband smuggling scheme. So the two officers that we are dealing with in this case, their names are Ashley Victoria Lewis Allen and K-9 Officer LaShawn Branch. Each of them are charged with bringing drugs into the jail and then distributing them to inmates. And the sheriff, he has told us that he has a zero tolerance policy when it comes to smuggling contraband, no matter who you are. So they laid down the law pretty quickly, even though these are technically members of their own team. They say, you cannot do this in our jail. We have to make an example out of you. So my question, how does something like this happen? Employees are supposed to go through metal detectors when it's
And them clowns is so proud that they decided to smile for their mug shots. Boy, y'all think this thing is a game.
in the jail, but they're able to hide illegal substances, especially if they they wouldn't be something that set a metal detector off. But they can hide those substances on their body to avoid detection. There is a checkpoint, but if you put it in the right spot, it might not be noticed or located on you in time. So the contraband, as we all know, or if you don't, I'm going to tell you, tends to sell for really high prices in the jail. These are items that you can't have, so of course everybody wants them. They're willing to pay a lot of money, and it's not just drugs. People are willing to pay $1,500 for a charger and up to $3,000 for a cell phone. Investigators say that Lewis Allen told jail officials, she was the woman that you saw there on your screen, that she was struggling financially and she had just turned to selling contraband to get a little more money. Now, we talked to Captain Jason Bennett from the Clayton County Sheriff's Office for a statement on how they feel about everything that's happening, but also why they took such a strong, stiff stance against these two officers. Let's listen in.
Because it's just a reminder that we still, after all the warnings from the sheriff, after the warnings from other command, after officers being arrested, even in our roll calls, that people are still willing to put themselves at risk and other officers at risk, inmates at risk, to bring contraband into the jail. There's a stigma about law enforcement that there's a blue wall of silence and we protect our own.
But clearly that quote unquote blue wall of silence is not something that people can necessarily consider when you are clearly doing wrong in the jail, like these four that I've told you about are accused of doing. If you are caught smuggling contraband into, as we have heard now, the Fulton County Jail, Clayton County Jail, and the Henry County Sheriff's Office, you will be dealt with. That's what we learned here from this little deep dive there. But I just found it really interesting. We come back to me in studio, just how soon after one another that we were hearing about these cases. Is it becoming a phenomenon is a question that I have. Are we hearing about more of these officers being held accountable and being suspected of these things, accused of these things? Or is it just that, just so happens to be happening around the same time, not necessarily related, not necessarily indicative of any other pattern?
There is consequence to doing this stuff, and obviously a lot of these officers do not care in the face of constantly seeing other officers get caught. What are they doing? Smacking them on the wrist? I know you instantly become a convicted felon once you get convicted for one of these things, for one of these charges, man. Possession, let's look at the possession of crossing guard lines. Let's look at that charge, and what the OCGA code is.
The relevant Georgia statute is OCGA Part 42515, titled Crossing of Guard Lines with Weapons, Intoxicants, or Drugs without consent of warden or superintendent. Just your law, here's a breakdown. What it prohibits: coming inside the guard lines of a state or county correctional institution while carrying a weapon, intoxicant, or illegal drugs, or being under the influence, without the knowledge or consent of the warden, superintendent, or their representative. Fine law codes: it is a felony. If convicted, the penalty is imprisonment for not less than 1 year nor more than 4 years. Fine law codes: there is also a related statute in the juvenile setting, OCGA 494A16, which makes it unlawful to introduce or bring contraband, weapons, drugs, etc., across guard lines in a juvenile detention facility. Just your law if you like. I can also pull the full statute text or relevant case law interpreting this crossing the guard line statute.
Okay. So it carries 1 to 4 years. That's, I don't know about y'all, but that's a long time, man. But that's just one charge, because you catch crossing the guard lines. And keep in mind, just because you see the judge run things concurrent does not mean that they have to run them concurrent. They can run them consecutively. That means one behind the other. Here's the other charge, violation for public oath of office.
The Georgia statute addressing violation of oath by a public officer is codified at OCGA Part 16-10-1. Here's a summary. OCGA Part 16-10-1. Violation of oath by public officer. A public officer commits this offense when they willfully and intentionally violate the terms of their oath as prescribed by law. Elements: the accused must be a public officer under Georgia law. The violation must be willful and intentional, not merely negligent or mistaken. The conduct must contradict the oath taken upon entering office. Penalty: classified as a felony, punishable by 1 to 5 years imprisonment, a fine up to $100,000, or both. This law reflects the state's strong interest in maintaining the integrity and trustworthiness of its public officials. Prosecutors must prove intent to convict under this statute. Mere breach of duty is not enough. If you need the statute.
So the fine is 1 to 5 years and or $100,000. So all of this money that you're thinking that you're making when you're trafficking this contraband into these inmates, you may have to pay it back in the fine. Boy, listen, I don't know about y'all, man, but I'm not taking no penitentiary chance. I done already been. I went for 16 years, man. I done already been, but a lot of times when things like this happen, it is because it's people that never really been to prison. So they're willing to take that chance because they don't know what the other side entails, you know. So listen, we standing at 9 years right now between those two charges. Now, if they really wanted to get crazy, they can hit you with I think it would be, let's see, it would be conspiracy to commit a felony. Let's see what that carries.
The relevant Georgia statute for conspiracy to commit a felony is OCGA 1648, which governs criminal conspiracy. Here's a breakdown of the provision. OCGA part of 1648, conspiracy to commit a crime. This statute provides that, open quote, a person commits the offense of conspiracy to commit a crime when he or she, together with one or more persons, conspires to commit any crime, and any one or more of such persons does any overt act to affect the object of the conspiracy, close quote. Key elements. 1, agreement. There must be an agreement between 2 or more persons to commit a specific crime. 2, overt act. At least one conspirator must perform an overt act in furtherance of the conspiracy. Mere agreement without action is not sufficient. 3, intent. The intent to commit the crime must be present. Penalty. Under OCGA, Pretext 16-410, the punishment for conspiracy is 1 grade below the crime that was the object of the conspiracy. For example, if the object was a felony punishable by 10 years, the conspiracy may carry a maximum of 5 years, depending on the specific felony. This statute applies generally to conspiracies involving felonies as well as misdemeanors, with sentencing dependent on the intended crime.
So
The relevant Georgia
that
statute
is conspiracy to commit a felony. All right. Think back to the first story when that guy, they found a letter, I guess, from him or with his name on it or something. That is conspiracy. The writing of the letter back and forth towards the inmate, conspiring to what? Bring the contraband in. So that is another charge that this clown can get, conspiracy to commit a felony. So he basically looking at about 19 years if the judge want to be what he will say an asshole, they can send him to up to 19 years. And for what? Was it worth it? Was it worth throwing your livelihood away? Now, in fairness to these officers, again, they don't get paid enough money, so they are tempted. Correction officers do not make money at all. I don't know if they had $50,000-$60,000 a year, maybe. Let's face it, $50,000-$60,000 a year in 2025 ain't no money. I'm here to tell you, $100,000 in 2025 ain't no money. And them correction officers are definitely not making that type of money. So that's why they get tempted. And then once they get sucked in and see how easy it is, they feel like they can do it and continue to get away with it. They feel like nobody's going to catch them. But I'm here to tell you, them inmates, they're going to tell on you. They're going to tell on, and it might not even be a direct tell. You know, they might tell their friends like, yeah, man, I got such and such. Don't tell nobody. Now I'm only telling you, I got such and such bringing in that pack tonight, man. Shit is about to go down. And then that person go tell another person that go tell another person. And now everybody in the dorm knows. So somebody is going to tell on your ass. So I'm telling you, correctional officers, the bottom line is stop doing it, because we need to stop this. This has to stop. These inmates getting contrabands and providing them with their habits, you know, funding their habits and helping them further their habits. It's incarceration. People are supposed to go to prison and jail to do what? Rehabilitate and get out and turn away from that life. But when they're getting the same things that they get on the street behind the bars, you can't rehabilitate these people. And therefore, there's a revolving door that people going to continue to go in and out of. Man, y'all got to wake up, man. Everybody got to do their part, man. You're not helping with the rehabilitation of these people, man. You know, you're not. But since you want to be so cool with them, hey, now y'all can be in there and be together, and y'all can sing kumbaya and all that good stuff together because you wanted to be in there with them. I'm here to tell you, as a person that did 16 years, I wouldn't hook an inmate up. Boy, let me tell you something, boy. They some of the most manipulative people in the world. Ain't nowhere in the world I put my livelihood, my life on the line, my freedom on the line for no damn inmate. I don't care if I was related to him, boy. I'm gonna help you rehabilitate and get out of this mess so you don't have to come back. Because part of the problem in this society is that these jails and these prisons are far too comfortable. And since they're comfortable, people don't care about the consequences and they're going to keep returning. Hey, man, y'all got to wake up, man. It's time for change. Thank you for tuning into XCon Media. Go right ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hurry up!